Okay, let's get ready, let's get the meeting started.
There's a microphone right there. Do you need
In case any of you don't know me, I'm Grover Butt, and I'll be your acting president to the end of the year. Okay, let's say the president pledge allegiance to the flag. Stand, please. We have any new members, new guests?
Sarah Juvenile.
I don't think it's on.
My name is Sarah. I'm a new member. I just joined tonight.
Sound on.
Hello,
Oh, that's it.
can you hear me?
Yeah, okay, now.
Hi, I'm Sarah and I'm a new member. I just joined tonight. Thank you for having me.
Well,
Thank you.
Sarah, did you pick up on the desk over there with the calendar of different classes that are available? Okay, great. Okay. And just so you know, and let everyone know, if you want, classes are open for everybody, all members. But we ask you to sign up for it so we know how many seats to have in the room. Except me, I bring my own. It's at 514 East Gray Street. Unless it's a Zoom meeting, then you just go on Zoom.
okay, I'm Ron Lucian is gonna take care of the bylaws change.
As Grover said, I'm Ron Bouchon. I am your secretary for the club. Last year, there was some controversy in regards to the bylaws as it pertained to the election process and the nomination process, so Mary Fleener appointed a committee to review those bylaws. They have been done. Our bylaws do require the board of directors to approve them first by a 2/3 vote, and then it comes to the membership for that same 2/3. It was printed in the Bites newsletter that you should have all received. And Mark has it on the screen. The red is what was changed. The black is what is the current existing bylaws. And the strike throughs, of course, are self-explanatory. They will no longer be in the bylaws that are adopted. Basically, it's no large changes. It just made where you can solicit votes, your location of where that can be done. And then the other portion was majority. The old bylaws or the current bylaws as registered as the majority, as the winner of the election would be the majority. It's always been understood by the board for many, many years. I go back to 2013, that the majority meant the most person got the most votes on the election. Unfortunately, the true meaning of majority is 50% plus one. So we had some problems there with that. So that's been changed. We've eliminated the majority and just made it with the person with the most votes won. So prior to taking a vote, are there any questions on the changes or proposed changes? Okay, we do have a quorum. We have currently 341 members, and we need 5% in attendance. That would be about 17 people. We certainly have more than that. So if there's no other questions, or I'll ask for raise of hands. Those in favor of adopting the bylaws as printed, raise your hand, please. Anybody opposed? Raise your hand. It'll be unanimous. Thank you very much.
Thank the committee or move on? Move on. Okay, but thank you for the vote. Nominating committee, please.
No.
Hi, my name is Jan Whitty. Is it on? They can hardly hear me anyway. Oh, okay. And Rosemary Sexton is our chairperson, and she can't be here this evening, so Shirley and I kind of we're doing it. Anyway, what we are looking for is nominations from the floor. If there is anyone that is interested in any position on the board or any officer position, you would be running for president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, or a director. I have a form here that you would have to fill out, and we need them filled out by this evening in order to be on the ballot in December for the vote. So if there's anyone that's interested, please come down and see myself or Shirley.
Hi, my name's Shirley Hammond, and I have been affiliated with the group, the computer group here for a little over 10 years. I volunteer every once a week and at the front desk, and I'm also here to help anybody that would like to sign up to be a director or an officer, so anything we can do to help. And I might add that I've also been nominated myself as for a director of the so anyhow, I've been nominated for a director on the board, so I hope that I can count on you guys for a vote. And anything else that I can do to help this evening, or anybody would like to sign up and run for any officer, let me know. And I thank you all for coming out this evening.
Thank you. I am also on the nomination committee and the board of directors. And so please let us know if you want to be on any of that. Okay. He's going to show the candidates. There, Grover, of course, is going to be the president. And then Mark, he holds a BS, and as you can see, you can read what it's up on there. He is our vice president. Ron is our current secretary. He's been a member for quite a few years. And the next one will be the treasurer, which is Lydia Riss. She's been a member since 2001. And she holds different offices and stuff. And she's on the Brand, he's sitting here behind me. And he's on the board. Then you have Mary Burns. She has been a long time member on the board. And then you have Tony Flores. He's currently a director and will be continuing to serving. And then you have Shirley Hammond. And she just talked to you. And then of course there's me. So we are all on the ballot as of now. So if you want to join us on the ballot, please come and see us.
I need some help from my members. Anybody that could give us one day a week from 10 o'clock in the morning to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I need at least 2 volunteers, and I would take more to train to do the front desk. I'm short 1 person on the front desk right now, and that happens to be a Tuesday. If you feel like you've got the time and would like to come in and mingle with us, come down, see me, see Mark, see one of the board members. And I'm there on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Mark's there on Wednesday and Thursday. No, Tuesday. I don't know, you're there.
Thursday, always Thursday.
So, see any of us. I want to really thank somebody. If you will stand up, please, March White. Please. This young lady has stepped in. I got this on me a month ago. Her and Mark and my other board members have really jumped in and made it a lot easier on me trying to get where I'm at right now, and I'm not near where I need to be. So, and if you can help any way, shape, or form, it would be greatly appreciated.
What do you think, George? Favorite of the month?
Okay. Favorite of the month is monitorfirefox.com. You gonna pull it up?
Well, we'll try to pull it up. I want you to tell them what it's all about.
Okay. This finds out if that any of the sites that you've had have been hacked. So we just put it in.
Oh, so these are something.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
You mean they've been hacked?
The sites that you are having, the sites you're visiting have been hacked,
Oh, it will show you which one?
which it'll show you which ones.
Oh, I thought you had to give it to all of them.
No,
Okay, in other words, it's just like Malwarebytes finding the bad guys.
it lets you know which sites have been. Hmm?
What I did was, you go to, monitor.firefox.com. You can put in your email address. And basically what it'll dump out for you is a list of different, websites that have been hacked and what information that actually got hacked out of those websites.
Is this yours?
This is me.
Okay,
So I signed up for a program called MyFitnessPal, which is supposed to track my calories. And it turns out that MyFitnessPal got hacked. And then the information that got exposed was my email address, any IP address, passwords, and some usernames that I use for that site. Any other site is going to be independent of that. So it gives you an idea of if there's a website that you signed into that uses your email address and it pops up on this list, you probably want to go to that website and either get off their website altogether, or at least as a minimum, change your password. Because whatever information has been exposed at a data breach somewhere along the way. And I don't know, if you take a look at this one, it's called House. House is a nice one because you could find stuff for your house, right? But I signed up for it, and by signing up for it, it exposed my email address, my location, my IP, wonderful thing. So this is just that, but it's an idea of, if you signed up for a site that did data breach your information, it's a way to find out who's data breached and go in and change your password or try to get off their site.
we're trying to find in, see how many million I have.
Wow. I don't know, George, I think you'd have to type in your email.
Okay, it's GAOP.
Hang on a second, let me get back to.
Okay,
So if you find that you've been breached, you go in and you delete your name, that doesn't delete your information.
that doesn't,
They still have access to your information.
That the problem is with the data breach, it's a past tense.
what I would do is, if you had one called Buzz, I would go into Buzz and ask them, what are they doing for this? Are you gonna send me protection or anything else? Yesterday, I had a member come in and said that he was compromised by Fawcett. And Fawcett, gave him 1 year of protection from a independent group. And,
Like Experian, like one of the credit reporting agencies, is that what you're?
no. So someone knocked into Fawcett. And exposed, got emails and addresses. They found out about it, they corrected it. And Fawcett, out of the goodness of their heart, said that they were going to pay for a year's worth of protection for anyone that was on the sites.
So what does that mean though, like if they got somebody committed fraud against them, that they would take care of that, or when you mean?
No, they would send them a third-party protection that would help find anything that goes wrong.
If they used your information,
If they use your
they
information,
give you insurance to cover whatever you need.
See, what's the name of the company? Is there a company name? I know, there's no company name when they say a 3 year and live.
I'm trying to remember the name, IDX,
I've had that happen to me.
IDX, yes.
I've had that happen to me twice, and when you contact the people that it happened to, they send you all the information for you to contact them and get set up.
Yeah, usually I get a free, like Experian or one of the credit reporting for free, that's what they give me
Right.
when there's a data breach.
All right, George, shall we move on to the presentation?
Oh, sure.
All right, sounds good.
I just have one question.
Okay.
How's that calorie count going?
Let me check, really well. A lot of calories getting out of there. All right. Our presenter this evening is Jim Austin. He's been gracious enough to come help us out and how and kind of inform us how to take pictures with yourself, better pictures with your cell phone. These things are like, I don't know, in the old days, I used to drag around a DSLR. I've had a digital SLR, really nice, but I don't carry it anymore because this stuff is really great. Can you wake that one back up? Whoop. Your computer. Can you wake it back up? Oh. Jim is a photographer for the Punta Gorda Symphony, Southwest Florida Honor Flight, and Florida Weekly News. He teaches in the field with the Punta Gorda Isle Civic Association and online with image makers who want to learn photography or cell phone shooting. He has taught digital photography at Colorado University in the Department of Design. And for the past 2 years, it's taught, is it iPhotography? How do you say that? iPhotography, which is a term I've never heard before, but it's actually how to take pictures with your iPhone. And since 2012, Jim has helped to fund education for youth in the Bahamas. He donates procedures from his books and calendar sales to relief efforts of the World Central Kitchen. So if everybody will give Jim Austin a big hand here.
Thank you, Mark. I wanted to thank you and Grover Mudd and Donna for the pleasure of being with you tonight. I'm here to answer your questions. I hope you'll ask me lots of things I don't know. A few years ago, I sailed to a place where the cruise ships go, but it was the other side of the island. Are we in a project?
Don't straight into it.
Those things are not.
Yeah, are we projected?
Yeah. Oh, drop your computer dropped out of you. What do you need, Mark? That was his computer. How about what we did?
The power's on.
Just fell asleep.
And on this side of the island, uh, we were walking along the beach, and about 15 feet above the water line, this came to my attention, and this started a series of photographs. I had never seen this before. Next slide. And in the January of that month, on the small part of the island in the Bahamas, the tide had been high at that time, and it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So there it was, and it got me thinking about what makes a good photograph. And a good photograph is something unique. So I brought a friend with me tonight. So this is Yorick. Next slide. How many of you have been out this fall in our beautiful harbor? Out on the water? How many of you have seen loggerheads in the open ocean? I happened to be on a sailboat, and this was a rare sight of two loggerheads meeting. Next slide. So this began a series, and I'm showing this to you for two reasons. One is when you find something unique that's fresh and different for you, go for it, pursue it. That makes an interesting image. So I'm Jim Austin, my company's jimages.com. Again, I'm here to answer your questions tonight about photography. And my hope for this brief talk is to just nudge you to look at as many pictures as you can. I've already seen someone taking a number of flash pictures tonight, which is great. There you are. What's your name? Nanette has already been photographed tonight. Next slide. So something unique, something different, and something that only you can see. What have we seen that we have not seen before? That's what makes a compelling photograph. Next slide, please. So tonight, I'd like to cover a little bit about slowing down, talking a little bit about color, and talking a little bit about your phone. How many people have their phone with you? You have the best camera in the world in your pocket. iPhone 6, 9, Android, Samsung, whatever you have is your best camera because you have it with you. I was going down this morning and there was a great image of my Waterford Estate people painting a sign just this morning. All I had was my cell phone, didn't have any of my cameras. I shot a picture, I shared it. That's the joy. That's the joy we have now. So whatever camera you have, if you're using it, that's the way to go. Next slide. Just as important as any camera you choose, whether it's iPhone 15 or down, is practicing every day. This was a walk I took in downtown Punta Gorda and just kept photographing for 20 shots and then stopped. This is a nice exercise you can do. Walk out with your phone, say I'm going to take 20 shots and then pause. So just daily practice is very helpful. It's a motoric thing as much as a visual. I'm going to pause. Any questions about that so far? Also on that island in the Bahamas, on the boat. Was our little dog. And, what happened was the dog came down a, section of sand beach, looked at a little gray rock. Sniffed it, I didn't even notice this rock, but picked it up later, took it home. Turned out the dog had identified a 15-gram rock of ambergris. So we took that back, it was $100 per gram that we bought. So the lesson there was follow your dog's nose. And that led to a book called Dog Watch. And the idea behind the book is everything my dog taught me about how to take pictures. I think it's important in photography to do two things. To explore things you've never seen before and to be humble. I think humility and compassion are very important in photography. Next slide. Can we go back one? Sorry. So, how many of you are familiar with the high school rule of thirds? Good. You can use that. It's also nice to use the golden spiral in imaging. And these are suggestions of composition. The golden spiral just says, put the center of interest in part of that spiral. It goes back to the Greeks. There's a mathematical formula, 1.6 to 1, but the essence is, try not to center your subject. Put your camera horizontal and work with the edges of the frame. Any questions about that? Next slide.
You know what that skull is of?
Do I know what the
Skull was.
Do I know what the skull is? Yes, the skull is a loggerhead turtle
That is.
skull, and that's the one that found on that far beach on the other side of the ocean.
Okay.
Yeah. Skull is the loggerhead.
Okay.
One of the things you'll see people doing is they will go to the air show and they'll say, oh, there's a great plane. I'm gonna immediately start clicking. The first thing we do in compelling photography is engage our thought process. Right? Have I set up my camera correct? I make a lot of mistakes because I'll turn on the camera and I'll start shooting. The damn thing isn't even focused. Okay, you get the backlight. Oh, there's 20 shots that are blurred, right? So, next slide. The difference between an interesting picture and a meh so-so picture often is background. When you have a clean background, your subject will come out much clearer if the background is in harmony with the main subject. What do I mean by harmony? Well, this pelican is doing its wing clearance to get the water off, and the background is just water, just clean, nothing in the background. So how do you do that with your cell phone? You get lower. Change your camera position. You can shoot from up here. You can shoot from closer in and lower. Often what makes a photo more interesting is when you get closer and lower. Any questions? Next slide. The relationship between the main subject and the background. How do you get something larger? You get an inch or two away from it with your cell phone. A lot of your iPhone 15s, your Samsungs, your Androids will have a macro mode, right? You can get very, very close to whatever your subject is. And that will help it stand out from the back.
Explain that again.
Yes, thank you. The question is, explain that again. When you have a small object, move the camera even as close as you can focus to the subject. So that could be an inch, that could be 2 inches away. And what that will do, even with a wide angle lens, like a lot of your cell phones have, is make the subject much larger in the rectangular frame. Did I answer your question?
Yes.
Next slide. What is the main source of light? Well, here we have a very bright source of light. We've got a source of light over there. We've got a source of light over here. Often in nature, you do not want the overhead sun to be the main source of light. So what do you do about that? Well, you take off your hat and put it over your subject and throw some shade on your little object that you photograph. And that will soften the sunlight. When you are taking pictures of people, for example, have them face their back to the sun. Turn your flash on like you were doing. Where is she?
Over here.
There you are. I saw you using your flash with the people. That was great. Turn your flash on, have them, the sun behind them, and fill in the flash to even out. It's called contrast control. You're trying to reduce the contrast in order to make the colors pop. Next slide.
My question, like you said, things people back to the sun and turn the flash.
Good. Step one. Be nice. Tell them to reach out and, touch someone they love. Then make sure they're facing down sun, so the sun is behind them. That's step one. Step two is adjust your camera, your phone, so that the flash goes off. Step three is take lots of pictures, because somebody's going to close their eyes, and you want to take quite a few so that everybody has their eyes. What's your name? Sorry.
Linda,
Did I answer?
yes,
Are we clear on?
yes.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Linda. When you post a photo on a rectangular screen, if you post a vertical photo, it's going to have the left and the right cut off. So if you're in a movie theater, this is a horizontal display up here. That's a horizontal display. Most of the images that I get published in Florida Weekly News are taken with landscape mode. I was very lucky to be on the honor flight, and I photographed a 99-year-old World War II veteran. He's going to be 100 in January, and he got kissed by the flight attendant. And that made the paper. And most of the photos the editor chose were horizontal images. So if you're in the habit of always using your phone vertically, use it in landscape mode. Next slide. When you hold your phone, make your body a tripod. You'll see kids doing this. That's a great recipe for blurry pictures. Sit down, hold your phone against your head, anchor your elbows in, and gently roll your finger off the shutter button. Very gently, okay? So don't jab, just press gently, and your pictures will be sharper. Anchor your elbows in, put your phone up to your forehead, and gently click the shutter. Why? Because that will stabilize the shot. I know this because I lived on a boat for a while. We were rocking and rolling, and I had to sort of figure out, okay, how are we going to get this photo not blurry, right? Any questions so far?
Usually I always put the sun, I don't have them in front of the sun. You're saying that's just a mode that you use? Because usually I have the sun behind me when I take a picture.
I am really glad you asked, what's your name?
Karen,
Karen points out that often we have had the sun behind us, so it's shining on the people. That's what Kodak taught us in 1925.
I've been around a long
That's
time.
what my grandfather does. Thank you, Paul. However, the advantage of having the sun at their backs is they are not squinting. When the sun is in people's faces, you're gonna get squints and shadows under their eyes. That's why you turn them around and use fill flash. And I try this next time you're out, photographing people. Put the sun behind their backs and overexpose and put some flash into the shot.
Usually it's too bright down here. You can't see them, it's all glowing.
That's what the flash is
So
for.
the flash will
Yeah.
illuminate that.
Well, the other technique you can use is put them in the shade at the edge of a shadow of a tree. So for example, if there's a tree and the sun is up here, just put them where the shadow ends and where the background is dark, and there won't be as much glare as you mentioned.
I had on that. But I'll try what you said.
Next slide. Any question? It's a great question. Any others?
Did you read it?
This is a learning process, and I learn something new every day about photography. I've been doing it 5 decades. Donna, question?
You might have a wonderful video of an alligator going through the water. And there's really bad around it. How often do you do this, or can I do this right with that picture? How to do that?
How can you clip a still frame out of a video and use the still picture? Was that the question? Anybody?
Well, I do, if it's on your phone, you can do it just like.
You can take a screenshot of your phone. Any other methods? Good idea. You can do that in Adobe Premiere, which is an Adobe software product. You can take a still frame out of a video. And my guess is there's also an app for doing just that. Thank you. CUTSTORY. Cut Story. Great idea. Next slide. Oh, Mark, did you have?
Just had one other suggestion, if it's a video, if you use Clipchamp, you can actually freeze it and use the snipping tool from Windows that steal the frame. Clipchamp. Actually, it's a video editing, kind of a freeware right now for Windows that you can edit videos with, and like I said, you can actually steal a frame right out of it.
So Donna has done something that we were suggesting, which is be out in nature, see something you haven't seen before, and celebrate. If you see something unique, that's what makes a compelling photograph. Next slide. So your smartphone has a bright lens, and it's always good to ask this question: where is my main light coming from in my photograph? What's my main source of light? And what's the quality of that light? Am I photographing people with overhead sun, so it's really contrasty, or am I going to put them in the shade where the contrast goes down, their eyes open up, they relax, and they smile? Where is the light coming from in my horizontal picture that I'm taking? I'm always asking that when I photograph on assignment. You can adjust your exposure in any software you have as your phone, and just to review, steady as she goes. Hold that phone real steady. Do this. Don't walk around and shoot with one hand. Make a tripod out of your elbows and take a nice slow shot. Why? You'll get sharper images that way. If you're shooting video, Donna mentioned, there are certain couple of settings, and I'm happy to email you this PDF after my talk. If anybody would like a copy of this PDF, just leave me your email and I'll send you all of these slides. For those of you taking notes, I'm at jimages.com, JIMAGES.com. That's Jim, AGES, Jimages, one word, .com. And I do teach every week at PGICA. So once again, that's jimages.com is my website. And the place where I teach is pgica.org. That's the Punta Gorda Isles Civic Association. We run Shreve Street next to the library, and I teach a class there. And my goal is just to nudge you and empower you to be successful in whatever you want to photograph. Next slide. Get low, get close. Get low, get close if you have a small object, right? Those are natural raindrops. I didn't take a bottle and spray it. Which brings me to authenticity. It's very important in photography to be authentic. It's very important in journalism to be authentic. Facts are important in photography. Next slide. What color is your favorite color? I send out students to photograph just their favorite color for a week. And then the next week I tell them to go out and photograph a color that they dislike. Right? Why? This is to make us more aware of color. We have a whole range of colors. You've got a whole rainbow shirt there. Colors are very important in compelling photograph. If you find you have a strong feeling about something, stay with that, because that emotion will charge your creative juices to photograph a story. And when you start photographing stories, you'll find you have a lot more images that will start flowing rather than just one or two. Can everybody hear me in back? Are there any questions at this point? Should I keep going?
Do you use any enhancements to your photographs?
When I'm sending a picture to Florida Weekly News or the Symphony, the first thing I'll do is I'll look at the composition. So I will crop. Step one, crop the picture. I'm trying to eliminate bright edges, things that are bright at the edge of the picture, to take out, you know, anything that's going to draw the eye away from the center of the subject. Next slide. For example, this is a guy in a little dinghy, and he's got conch on the bow, and he's taking a nap because he's been out snorkeling all day in the Bahamas. So the first thing I did was I cropped out some of the sky. It was too bright, so I cropped the top of that image. And then I added what's called vibrance and saturation, just a little bit, not too much. And then I sharpened, and then I let it go. So the answer is yes. There are a couple of things that you can do that in your phone with any mobile app. My favorite app that I teach in the class, I'm going to let you have a tip here. I use it all the time. It is called SNAP, Snap, SEED. How many people use Snapseed? Anybody? Snapseed is a very easy to download, very easy to use, intuitive program, especially for visual people. It lets you change cropping, it lets you boost color. Snapseed, it's an app that you would download for your mobile phone when you're photographing. Next slide. Which camera is it? Which camera is it? Which phone is it? iPhone. Yes. There are a whole bunch of different apps that will let you crop and boost color for the iPhone. Snapseed is one of them. I use it every day. It's very handy. It has a portrait mode for people that's just fabulous. How many of you have used your portrait mode in your iPhones? And do you like that? Snapseed lets you do a vignette. You can use portrait mode, like, what's your name? Tony? Anthony over there, he's using portrait mode in his iPhone, and then Snapseed, you can throw a nice dark circle around people and boost the color, and it makes it look great. When I'm photographing an event, people always go, Jim, make me look thinner, and I'll go, great, I'll throw the Hollywood glow filter on you. Snapseed has this wonderful glow filter, it takes 10 years off. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide. If you're traveling, buildings are great. What's even better is a horizontal image that has human interest. So here's my dog, the one that inspired the book called Dog Watch. And Basenjis have huge ears, so this is the human interest element. I don't know about you, but I respond more emotionally to the one on the right than I do just the plain seascape. Next slide. In order to get a good foreground, and this could be your granddaughter, you could have your granddaughter hold out her toy a foot closer to your camera. And that toy, her favorite teddy bear, or whatever she's doing, Play-Doh, if she's working on her phone, you could have her hold it out in the foreground and use that object as the foreground for a human interest shot. Put something in the foreground. Why? Because that creates what? Human interest and depth. Human interest and depth, right? Next slide. There's the dog. Sorry. This is all about the Basenji. And to do this, I'm throwing a ball, which I've cropped out. You asked about changes. I cropped out the ball that's up at the top that she's paying attention to. So this is a 7-year-old dog. And when I'm photographing, I'm putting the camera by the door, the iPhone by the door, the camera by the door, every time I go out on a dog walk. I don't intend to take pictures, but she'll find something. All right. Other questions? Next slide. Orange, yellow, and green are neighborhood colors, so they work together. Some of you are in fashion and some of you are much better dressers than I am. And you know about your color combinations that you look good in, right? So it's the same in photography. Certain colors work very well together. These are complementary or colors that are similar to each other on the color wheel. The green of the rope on the boat, the orange and the yellow in the middle, and then the orange reds. Next slide. If you're photographing the air show and the planes are blurred, you want to do one thing with your phone. You want to increase the sensitivity of your phone to light. That's called ISO. How many of you shot film in my day? Kodak film? It used to be called ASA, right? Same thing. So there's 200, 400, there are all these numbers, and you can boost this in your phone camera. Boost the sensitivity, look for ISO, and put it up to 1,000 or 2,000, and that will make your shutter speed very fast, and then that Thunderbird will stop. We'll capture the Thunderbird. Yes. It will vary in different smartphones, smart cameras, and it'll be a setting. If you have a search function, you can search for ISO. but it's usually under the camera settings. And these are 3 of them. The sensitivity to light is the ISO. The opening of the lens is the what, folks? F-stop, thank you. And then the third one is the shutter speed, or how long your shutter is going to stay open, right? Next slide. Someone in China a long time ago said, tell me what you pay attention to and I'll tell you who you are. For me, photography is about learning how to pay attention. Next slide. Next slide. This one took a month. I went out every day in Denver, Colorado, where I had a house. This was a white sphinx moth, also known as a hummingbird moth. The sun is behind it, and I filled the flash, just like I was mentioning earlier. So the sun is coming in behind this moth. It's moving at the speed of a Thunderbird fighter across the pollinating flowers. And I filled the flash. The camera's on a tripod, picked out in the Smithsonian in the Natural History Museum in the Nature's Best competition. Sometimes luck helps you. I don't know. Whatever, you just do what you'd like to do. Next slide. How are we doing for time? How much time do we have?
About 5 minutes.
All right, any questions so far?
So when you are taking a lot of these pictures like this one, you're saying you used your cell phone, or do you actually have a digital phone? Like, I mean, camera?
Yes,
Both?
yes. This morning on the bike, I had my phone, and I didn't even know these people were paving our Waterford Estate sign. I had left the camera behind because I was in a rush to get to teach. And I thought, oh, I've got the best phone in the world in my pocket, the one that's mobile. That is the strength of your camera. You have mobility. Just take it with you everywhere. Bathroom. You know, shower.
You want you to take
Practice.
pictures of yourself in the shower.
Practice. If I told you about Fortnite, you can take your feet in the shower. You know, that's for. To me, photography is about being humble and being aware, but it also, there's an aspect of being outwardly directed, looking at the horizon. This morning, looking up at the moon and Orion and Jupiter just this morning in the dark sky. So there's an aspect of creating and letting go of the self. Next slide. Next slide. For those of you who like to read online, this is an excellent source for smartphone. There are more tips than you can possibly absorb here. I teach some of these in my class on Tuesdays at 9 a.m. at pgica.org. We meet in the history park. I teach some of these tips. We have students of all kinds, any level in the history park, and we go out for 2 hours. But if you want to get highly detailed tips, there are 96 tips at this site here. It's not my site. I recommend it. It's a very good one. If you Google the complete guide to smartphone photography, it will also come up. If you Google jimages.com, 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 my website. Next slide. Women veterans were just honored at the Military Women's Memorial. And I was aboard the flight on October 10th, and we had 33 women veterans, and I'm getting chills as I tell you about this, because their accomplishments were long and deep. And these are two women veterans standing at the Marine Memorial, also known as Iwo Jima. You'll recognize it. So the composition here was just to include the feet by the sculptor. You know what the rest of it looks like. You can suggest things by just including a little bit of them. Didn't need the whole towering sculpture because it was about these two veteran women. We had 33 on the flight. There were 85 guardians and 85 veterans. Men, of course, were on the flight, but this was a flight dedicated to women veterans. And I was very fortunate to be able to be a photographer on that flight. Next slide. Facts are important. It took 4 decades to identify which service members were in the photo that the Iwo Jima Memorial sculptor based that sculpture in Washington, DC. So it was, it took a long time to figure out who the servicemen were. The photo was accurate. The photo was taken on the raising of the flag on Mount Suribachi. There was no fudging. There was no, faking. It was an accurate moment. You can see this, the sheet, the contact sheet where he has several photos before and after, and you can pick out the frame, and that's the one that was made into the memorial. Authenticity is important. Next slide. Thank you, Joe Rosenthal, for being there, making that photo. Next slide. I'm going to wrap it up because I think we're running out of time. Again, I want to thank our hosts and very happy to meet you. I'll be here hanging around if you have any more questions. Thank you so much.
I had one brief moment here. I would like to remind everyone that our December meeting on December 5th is the elections. So please, as many of you that can come, and then afterwards, they will have a little party after the elections itself. And we hope all of you can be there. And just a reminder, if you do want to be on that ballot, you have to come see us yet before you leave.
Anybody that want to bring anything to the party on the Christmas meeting, we greatly appreciate it. Everybody tries to bring something and we all sit and enjoy each other. Have a great evening. Mark, you have anything else you'd like to say?
Computer drawing.
Oh, yeah, we're gonna do that. We're gonna have our drawings. I'm gonna let a beautiful lady take care of that.
Okay, the first one we will do is the red ticket, and it will be the raffle. George, you're the first one. I don't have my glasses over, so we must be.
I gotta take mine off. Okay, the last three, 5, 8, 2. After we close, come down, get your prize, and somebody's gonna take pictures.
I picked it up.
Mhm.
Yes. Oh. Okay. No, I get to pick them. I get to pick them here.
5, 8, 4. $610. $610. Okay, come down afterwards. Okay, this is for the $25 gift card. 589. Okay, come on down and get it after, get your photo taken. Okay, this is gonna be the 50/50. What are we doing?
$40.
$30. Oh, $40. And Mary takes tips. 808. Okay.
You can come down and get it afterwards.
Okay, you want to draw the computer drawing?
The last three numbers, 054.
That's for the computer, Tom.
That's the computer. Computer. Okay, folks, thank you and have a great evening and a great week.